you've come here with people and they've actually mysteriously died.
You open a can of worms up. If you see strange lights in the forest, don't call it in. This is quite an interesting place.
That's oddly sinister, that.
You sometimes get the feeling that there's people watching you and listening to you. If the truth was to come out about Rendlesham, that would alter our perception on how we see the world.
This is where we die. What the f*** is that? Hey guys, how's it going? Dudey, I'm back with another investigation. We're running light this time. It's me and Bailey, but we're going to pick up Ronnie. Now, Ronnie is an expert in Rendlesham Forest.
Some kind of object.
The UFO landed in Suffolk.
It's being covered up because everybody's in a race to try to take this technology and use it against each other.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what way this is going to go. We have brought some equipment with us, but we're basically going to rock up with Ronnie and see what happens. How exciting.
They use this as a shortcut between the bases. This road back.
So today, guys, we are joined by Ronnie, who is a big Rendlesham Forest enthusiast and investigator. Ronnie, you're going to take us around, you're going to tell us lots of stories today, and you're going to help us with the investigation. Thank you so much for your time and for being with us, Ronnie. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Right, let's take a look around.
Because there is a house down this lane here that disappeared. And Colonel Holt saw it.
Yeah.
And that did disappear. And there's several people. There's
Did it come back or?
No.
Oh, it's
that
just
was a
gone.
time slip.
It's just gone.
Yeah, there's a website called Chilling Tales, and
Yeah.
David Bryant runs that website. And some friends of his come down there from Essex and found their dream home.
Yeah.
Came back the next day, and it was gone. Oh, shit.
I do just want to say on the way down here, Ronnie did tell us that you've come here with people and they've actually kind of mysteriously died.
Yeah, there's been two people that I know really close. Chris Nash is the main one, because he was down there nearly every night. He had an obsession. He used to stay here and have a barbecue. And then one night on the way home, the only tree on the road from here to Cromer, or from that stretch of road, and he ran into the tree, and so. And
That's
then
awful.
Kevin Darkstorm was another one. He was near me there at the time. He started getting interested in what was going on in the forest. Next thing you know, he's died.
Do you think it has a connection potentially of?
I think it did with Chris.
Yeah.
Something either got to him mentally or something got with him, because he talked about taking the spirits home with him.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know him ever so well. I'd only met him about 3 times. I got on really well with him for the few times that I saw him. There was a lot of other people who knew him really well. But he had a strange obsession. He used to come in nearly every night, and he always said that he saw beings in the forest of this little bit here. He's not the only person. One other person, I don't know his name, friend of Brenda Butler's, who used to camp in there, come from Essex, and swore that he saw the blue aliens in there.
Right.
Yeah. Right in that corner bit there.
That's the thing, because you said a lot of stories on the way over here. There seems to be a lot of things that go on here, whether it be aliens, whether it be spirits, whether it be orbs, whether it be cryptids, all sorts of things.
There's people who have seen cryptids. I've never seen one. I've never seen an alien. But paranormal stuff, spiritual things, I've seen more than my share. That's a very spooky place, especially after dark.
Yeah, that's. I must admit, Ronnie, I can't lie to you. I'm not really looking forward to when the sun goes down. I think it's gonna.
That takes on a whole new atmosphere completely. This is quite an interesting place. This is the East Gate. This is where it all started.
Oh, so is this where the post was? Where they spotted the lights?
Yeah, if you look back there's a brick building. Well, it wasn't like that in them days. It was just a tiny little wooden structure.
Yeah.
And there'd be people who were new, probably their first posting overseas, would historically be posted there, what they call gate duty. So part of the law enforcement job, they're the policemen. Law enforcement are like your everyday bobbies, and then there was the airmen with the guns who were security. On their rounds, just check that the gate had been locked, and if it weren't, lock it. And that's what happened that night, on Christmas night, sometime in between midnight and 3 o'clock. No one's really sure. John Burroughs, who was one of the airmen, was in a vehicle with his supervisor, and the supervisor saw some lights over the forest. So if you imagine, there was no trees there for about 200 yards. So Bud Steffens, who was his supervisor, was actually new to the base. John had been here about 17 months by that time, so he'd been at this gate hundreds of times. Bud Steffens had said, "John, do you see them lights? Is that normal?" He went, "No, I've never seen lights like that before." And so they opened the gate and went off base, which they shouldn't really have done without calling it in. But then you have to call in and say you've seen a UFO. Really career enhancing. So they went to the bottom of the road, stopped the Jeep. As soon as they opened the vehicle, they felt an electrostatic charge, and they saw these lights over the forest, which John described as being like Christmas lights.
Okay.
Like all different colours, and the white one. At that, the big white lights started moving towards them, like mirroring their movements. So they got in the vehicle, turned around, come straight back here, got to the guard shack, which had a phone, because it weren't manned. It was only manned on alerts or during the day till about 8 o'clock.
Right.
And rung it in to the law enforcement desk. They contacted the flight chief that night. It was Jim Penniston, Sergeant, and told him to come down here. So then he came down here and he said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, look, you see all them lights there." And he said, "When did it crash?" And Bud Steffens said, "It didn't crash, I saw it land."
Yeah.
There's something landed.
In the woods?
In the woods, yeah. And so then everything changed. He then had to get some men together and go and investigate. A lot of airmen saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of the radar operators saw things, but they never talked about it.
No.
And they were warned when they come here. If you see strange lights in the forest, don't call it in. Shall we walk the way that they would have gone that night?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Okay, let's go for that.
I found some research that was done back in the day, like 1983, fresh after it. And one of the airmen said, when they asked where the craft landed, they described a little brush clearing at the end of the Eastgate Road. And he said, if you get to the end of the Eastgate Road, take a left 50 yards. And he said, as near as damn it, that's ground zero. So he obviously saw something land right here. Right in this corner here. There weren't no car park there then, it was just brushland,
Whereas the statue that commemorates where it landed...
Yeah, it's a long, long way away,
is in the wrong place.
And in actual fact, when Jim Penniston came here with one of the documentary people, he took them that way, near the Eastgate.
Right.
So, there's a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
There could have been multiple landings, and I'm sure there was. The pod marks, you've heard them talk about the craftlet pod marks in the ground.
Yeah.
There was pod marks found there weeks before this all happened. So.
Really.
So
was probably that? Wasn't the first time.
No. Whatever it was, maybe had come before, or if it was ours, that had been experimented on here before.
Yeah. Because that's one thing that I read actually, is that this place has been called the UK's Area 51.
Yeah, like Britain's Roswell.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything to that with the Area 51, the potential housing of UFOs and things like that at the airbase?
No, I think this is more like a Skinwalker ranch. I think this is a flat area, which is a very fine veil between different dimensions, you might say. There's a lot of paranormal activity here. Experiment-wise, definitely, because just over the road at Orford, that was where radar was first invented. There was lots of the bouncing bomb, lots of technology was going on there. So we may well have been, or the airmen may well have been unwittingly experimented on by what we were doing. Like EM frequencies and stuff like that.
Well, it's all going on around here, isn't it?
Oh yeah. This has been an area of high strangeness for years and years and years.
This is more like Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, listen.
In Area 51.
Skinwalker Ranch, you've seen cryptoids. I haven't never seen them. People I know and trust have seen cryptoids here. There's UFO activity, there's paranormal activity, there's orbs of light, there's beams of light. What do you get at Skinwalker? You get all them.
All of that there.
Yeah. So whatever's going on there, maybe whatever's causing that is also here. It might be geological reason why that's.
Yeah. Ley lines. Things
Ley
like
lines come through here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
This sort of dog leg in the road here. One night I'd been out on my own. That's about 3 o'clock in the morning. No one here at all. Pitch black. As I come round the corner there, I saw a tall figure standing here, over average height, fedora hat, coat on, which that was October, November time, so it wasn't surprising. And I was a bit wary of him, and as I got level with him, he said, "You must be Ron." No one calls me Ron, they call me Ronnie. I said, "Yes, I'm Ron." He said, "I'd like to introduce you to my circle of friends." And I said something like, "I've got all the friends I want, thank you." And I hurried down the road, turned around, there was no one there. No one. Got to the car park, no cars there, none on the road, none anywhere. So either I had my ghost experience, or what that was, I don't know. But why would a ghost know my name?
That's oddly sinister, that. I'd like to introduce you to my circle of friends. That shit me up for a while. I brought my dog in next time I came. I mean, the sun is going down, but it's still very light and it's very ominous. So Ronnie was telling us about this kind of technique that was it your friend does, doesn't she?
Yeah, Brenda Butler. She's the guardian. They call her the guardian of Rendlesham. We're in Rendlesham.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, bless her heart. She was one of the earliest investigators.
Yeah.
She was the person who broke the story, really. But she had this technique where she used to take photographs over her shoulder.
Yeah.
And capture things. Yes. You know, more than just taking them out. She had some terrific results.
I really like the concept because to me, and that might not be the motive behind it at all, but if there's anything paranormal or like a ghost peeking at you or something, if you're taking a picture over your shoulder, say for example the ghost thinks it's kind of looking at you and you're not looking at it, but you catch it anyway. So we'll be doing that throughout the evening, I think. Well, I mean, we'll give it
I told you the story about there was this track up further along when I was here with a couple of radio stations and we was doing a witching hour, and Richie Mott, who was one of the investigators, took a photograph over his shoulder. We felt the presence of someone all night, and we'd been in the field, what they call the farmer's field at Capel Green, and while we're stood there, these little child's footprints are appearing around us in the mud, which shit us all up a bit. But when he took this photograph, there was an image of a little girl. And I always say that looks like on the poster of Les Miserables, the girl with the curly hair, and that looked just like her. And I know sometimes with photographs you can see things that aren't there because you want to be, but that was spot on.
This place just gets worse. The more you talk, the worse it gets.
Weird.
It's so quiet, isn't it?
And with the Rendlesham Forest incident, there was something tracked coming in. That was why they were allowed to go off base, because Eastern Radar at Watton and Heathrow Tower had said that there was a bogey was tracked coming over Rendlesham Forest and then disappeared from view. No one talks about anything leaving the forest.
Is it still here?
I wondered if that was taken and put somewhere, because just after the Rendlesham Forest incident there was an awful lot of aircraft activity that even the base personnel weren't privy to. Even the base commander had no control over. So what were they taking out? And they were told to ignore it and to keep the mouth shut. Maybe something did get retrieved from the forest.
I think we're going to leave here with more questions, aren't we?
do you know, you open a can of worms up because that's too deep, there's too much to it. I wonder what snapped that tree like.
Yeah, there's another one back there as well.
Just snapped?
Yeah. And then they're kind of bent inwards.
Down the little track where the UFO statue is, there's an area that's been named by some of the early researchers as Blair Witch, and that's called Blair Witch for a reason. That is very, very spooky. And that area where they call Blair Witch is the actual place where Charles Holt first took Brenda Butler and said this is where it landed. So it's not where the statue is, that's along that lane, a couple 100 feet or more. That's very, very spooky.
That's called Blair Witch. It's not going to be good, is it? It's not.
No, I've been there with people when they wouldn't go down there because they feel as if something's stopping them going down there.
Oh my word.
And I felt like that myself. I've got halfway down and thought, no, something here don't want me to go down there.
Really?
I'm going to back up.
Can we go there tonight?
Yeah, we've got to go there. You want to go where the UFO trail is, don't you?
Sort of. I think so. I think I want to go there. Oh.
The answer's yes.
Yes, yeah, let's go. There's a thing here like the Predator.
Yes, when that's been photographed and filmed, and Brenda filmed it, and I was listening to Philip Kinsella today talking on Fade to Black, Jimmy Church's programme, and he said that when he first met Brenda, that was the old camcorder times, and she showed him this thing what looked like the Predator, where it was like morphing and disappearing and translucent.
Like invisible, but like,
yes,
sort of like distorted.
Yeah,
kind of.
distorted,
Right.
just like the Predator. And he said they wound it back and showed him a dozen times, and that was definitely that. This could be the tree, it could be any of them, but there's a little green man nailed into it.
What's that for?
Someone died there, and so they used that as a memorial. So Brenda's bench used to be here, and we all used to sit here because it overlooks Cattle Green over there.
Oh yeah.
You know, where the infamous farmer's field.
Yeah.
And we used to have a picnic here, but they destroyed our bench.
Oh.
On a couple of occasions, but they obviously still come here and picnic.
Yeah. So someone hung themselves from one of these trees.
Very still, isn't it?
So still.
Yeah.
It's so still.
You sometimes get the feeling that there's people watching you and listening to you.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah. That made me feel very uncomfortable.
Can't, mate, I can't even see when you zoom into the woods. It's just...
Can you hear that big noise?
Sounds like a ticking that's not
Yeah.
a cricket.
There was an airman who lost his life right, the aeroplane was right in that dip. Cunningham. It was Cunningham, and this name came through, and you know, I never put too much emphasis on this box, you know, but there was a lot of making a lot of sense to the words what were coming out. And when I looked into it, yeah, there was a right in this thing here was where the aeroplane crashed, and that was Cunningham. Was one of the pilots
that lost their life.
Yeah, right in that dip. Yeah, and the aeroplane, I think there's still debris there somewhere. I know people have got bits of it out.
Fucking hell.
Getting spooky, isn't it? Getting darker.
It really is. How are you feeling now compared to when we was in Darren Woods, Jordan?
A lot, to be honest, a lot more spooked. Because the thing with when we did Darren Woods was one of our first investigations, and I wasn't really, I was still highly skeptical. Whereas now, because of the experiences that we've had, being so much more open to the paranormal, etc., it's almost like I'm now aware of the potential dangers, if that makes sense, which makes this even more just creepy.
I can't see fuck all on here either. It's fucking pitch black.
Well, it is pitch black, isn't it?
We could get a torch out.
Yeah, I might need a torch to locate you boys.
Nah, you wimps.
No, it's just so I can see you on the camera. I can't see nothing.
No torches.
Yeah, no, look how fucking dark it is, mate. Oh wow! Like you're only like 7 foot in front of us.
I think torches are in your bag here.
Are they?
Yeah.
You hope.
They wiped you out. back to the road. Back to safety, sort of. Oh, get out. Jeez.
So there's the statue in there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So this is the UFO statue. It's apparently to commemorate where it landed, but apparently it's not where it landed. But I've seen so many pictures of this.
It's not too far away from here, but it's on this track.
There it is.
Oh. I haven't even seen pictures of this.
You know?
No.
So is this what they think the shape?
That was a lot of artistic license, but based on the shape that Penniston gave. But no, if you speak to Jim, he'd say no, it's nothing like that. The craft that Jim Penniston described was roughly triangular, about 9 foot, about 7 foot high, so that part's right. No portholes, no crew compartments, no sign of an engine anywhere. Smooth to touch like black onyx, like glass, and just hovering there. Wow. So yeah, I'd say about the size is right. So nothing like the glyphs that Jim saw. I suppose everyone's seen them online, the glyphs that are on the craft.
Yeah. And
when he touched them, he says he got a binary download. This is part of what was, that sign there was part of the sign he saw, and that one was as well. So it's been a bit of artistic license used in them. But he said he felt as if he knew the signs but didn't know where from. You know, when you see something, you think, I know that from somewhere.
Yeah.
But he was hoping he was going to see USAF or USSR or NASA or something like that.
Yeah.
It's nearly getting time for the spirits to come out and play. Oh, God. When they come across the craft, there was Ed Cabansack, who was an ordinary airman, actually it was his first day on duty. There was John Burrows, who was law enforcement, he'd been there about 17 months, and Jim Penniston, who was the security police specialist and the flight chief that night. They all report seeing different things. So, you know, John says that when they come across the berm, which is like a bump, a little hill like you've got there, and they looked over, they saw a big light that just flashed and disappeared. Ed Cabansack said something similar, but Jim Penniston's the only one who says he saw a landed craft and touched it and walked around it and photographed it, and photographs never come out. He says they were all fogged. Interesting that they all give different stories to what happened. Ed remembers the beginning, the end, but I can't remember the bit in the middle. And that could well have been debriefing because they were harshly interrogated.
Could it be a case of abduction?
Yes.
Because you often hear when people have been abducted, they just lose a period of time, don't they?
Yeah, well, where John ended up is a place called Barrow Mound, and that's as far as you can see in that direction. There's waterways in between, that must be about a dozen. Now there is a way of getting there during the day without getting wet, like we remembers getting wet at one time, but for him to get there in the time, it's impossible. But he got there. So was he abducted
and
dropped off there? He don't know, but he knows that's where he was because he remembers it like yesterday.
Yeah. It's a hell of a mystery, isn't it?
That's a mystery.
The amount of sticks on the ground, if something's following you, you'll be able to hear them, hopefully.
Unless they're floating over it.
The weird thing about the Holt tape, there's no sounds of the forest noise, which makes you think it's been edited.
That orange fungus.
Oh yes. Any mushroom buffs down there over there?
Over in the distance there at the back of the field, this is the farmer's field that some people call Capel Green. So when Colonel Holt and his team, this was on night 3, so the 27th and the 28th, they came in there first of all to check out the landing site where Burrows and Penniston had their site, and they're taking Geiger counter readings and such. They saw some lights going off. They were coming into the forest and out of the forest, and so they walked up to here. There was a little strand barbed wire fence in them days. When they got to here, the light, which he described as like an eye winking at you, so not to be confused with the Orphan Nest Lighthouse, which is 6 miles away, by the way, right up on the coast. That's not there anymore. It was just a pinprick. So it went out into the field there, and they went towards it, and it silently exploded into 5 white objects and disappeared. They then walked across the field looking to see if they could find any residue from, because that looked like something was molten, dripping off it like molten metal. The only thing they could find was cow pats everywhere. They didn't find nothing. They walked past where the farmer's house is, out into the next field. While they're there, they're looking up to the north, and there's more lights in the sky flying about. And one of them approached them at breakneck speed, stopped almost in front of them, and sent down a beam of light that landed almost at their feet. And at that time, Holt's thinking, you know, is this a weapon? Is this a warning? What is this? All the while, he's talking to the base, saying they're seeing things. They're telling him, well, we're not seeing anything. They obviously were. Right, yeah. But we don't see anything. The only person who's seeing anything is you. So at that, he sort of broke his investigation off and made their way back to base. You know, all the evidence from Rendlesham disappeared. Yeah. General Gabriel from US Safety in Europe, the head of the Air Force in Europe, came after the incident and took everything away. So we'll never know.
Why do you do that unless it's stuff that you don't want the public to know? Why do you do that? You know, why would you come and take all the evidence?
There is a file on Rendlesham, and one of the OSI investigators had seen it and has talked about it on the radio show I was involved with called Phenomenon Radio, and he said he'd seen 47 of 200 pages, and on there they did talk about alien beings.
I believe that something has been here.
Well, something's been covered up, and I don't think that was... If that was an experimental craft, I don't think they would have gone to this extent to cover it up. And also, Colonel Holt did say back in the day when he was asked that if the truth was to come out about Rendlesham, that would alter our perception on how we see the world. So that doesn't sound to me like it's an experimental craft. That sounds to me like it's something out from another dimension, and that's something he always says in interviews. He won't dismiss things from another dimension. Now, we were experimenting with an awful lot of awkwardness. Maybe we opened up a portal or something, and these things come through it. Maybe they never really close up. You know, maybe this is why people see cryptoids and aliens and spirits you see everywhere. But, you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's a flap area anyway, on a ley line. These bases always seem to be built on places that are funny. It's almost like they know. They might know, and that's why they're here. So we'll go up here a little bit further and I'll show you where Colonel Holt's landing site really is and where John Burroughs is. Man, it's dark and quiet and still. Quiet. Just can't hear critters, can't hear nothing. This place is creepy as, man. It's like, even with the light on in front of us, like... Whoa. So this is where... before this, so in there about the same distance as where Colonel Holt landing site really was. So through here? Yeah. And this is what they call Blair Witch. Oh, this is Blair Witch? Yeah, this area there, yeah. Some people have reported when they've walked along there, it's like wading through water. Yeah, so that looks more like the size, because they said they couldn't understand how such a big craft got in a small area. Yeah. I ain't going any further.
Why?
No. You can.
Why won't you come any further? No?
Don't disappear, Ronnie.
Yeah, we need you to get back to the car.
Don't disappear. So Ronnie doesn't want to come down here. I have no idea why.
You won't tell us why.
This is where we die. Because Ronnie, you're refusing to come this way, but that I don't feel very nice.
Okay, you say if there's any spirits here, make yourself known.
Oh God! If there's any spirits here, make yourself known.
you hear that?
Make a noise. If there's anything here with us.
George on the
What the
shoulder.
fuck is that? You hear that?
Yeah.
It sounded like one of the branches were going to snap,
Yeah.
but it's not.
The wildlife definitely don't like coming in this forest.
Doesn't, does it?
No, it's nothing.
Can you whistle back to us?
Hear that?
I heard that.
What was that?
It's voices. Say it again.
Is anyone here with us? One last chance. Give us a sign. Say something. Do something. Touch one of us.
Which way were the voices coming from?
Just hear it in the background, you know, like a radio when it's just not quite tuned in.
Hello!
Sorry.
That's a funky tree.
That is.
I mean, that looks fresh out of Blair Witch, doesn't it?
The main thing is they shouldn't be there, this is a pine forest.
Oh my fucking. What the fuck is that?
It's just the trees swaying.
That sounds disgusting.
Door open, is that?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
If there's anything up there, drop.
Stay up there.
Yeah, stay up there. Drop a branch down.
Fuck off.
He shit himself. Oh dear.
We are still on the same track, aren't we?
I hope we're following you.
Well, we did cut in and then went through and then onto the track, so we're not going straight anymore.
We're not lost, are we, Ronnie?
No, we're not lost. I wonder how far away the fence is. If we're on that same track or whether the track we was on is a bit closer.
Well, the fence is
The
back
fence
there.
is on that
The
side, I
fence is
think.
That side. That's the field there. Along this
Right,
path.
we shouldn't be coming down there then.
Are we lost?
Yeah, I'll be right.
How you feeling, George?
Yeah, it's down, mate. Oh, I can't focus. There we go. Oh, so we are going down. That is the path we're meant to be going down.
Yes, that's the path we were down.
Yeah, we come across here, but we cut into the woods, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah.
But we need to go this way,
Right.
which is off the track, to show you where Burroughs and Penniston's site was.
Let's go off-road.
Where are we headed now, Ronnie?
Right, so this is the area, which is a little bit, not too far away, but quite just a few hundred yards away from where Colonel Holt's landing site was.
So this was day 3.
This is day 1.
This is day 1.
Day 1. This is Penistone, Burrows and Cabansack.
Right.
So back there was a berm. Where they cut the trees down and leave the stumps as a berm.
Yeah.
They just come over there, they paired over there. And you say how close the trees are? I said,
yeah.
There's no way a 9-foot craft would get through them, manoeuvre through them, is there?
No.
Because look, that's not... Which is a weird thing, but yeah, this is where he had a sighting. When the craft lifted up, that went above the tree line and then out towards the coast, which is past that field, what we saw from over there.
So was it far in, or was it around?
No one can pinpoint it, but around about where you are now. Because it was just off this track, and then there was the fence.
So potentially I'm stood where a UFO was...
Reportedly been landed.
How does that feel?
Eerie.
None of these trees that are here now were there then, because they were all taken away.
Protested and stuff.
Well, the Forestry Commission said they were due for felon, but then other people said it was because they were irradiated.
Thought it could have been the light.
But you thought you see?
I thought I saw coming from behind you across to the right, like a white orb.
Yeah.
Like a blur, not so much like a blur of light.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn the lights off and have a look?
I have seen them in there. So
Should we turn the lights off and look?
Yeah. Man, it's dark.
It's dark. Well, I don't see any
That was strange.
lights now.
That was really strange.
I had the camera that way. So.
Yeah, but
No, but if there was something there, you'd be able to see it.
It didn't feel like that. It was almost like a smoky, like a white, orby, smoky mist thing, blur.
Well, the camera was facing that way, so hopefully it was.
Shall we?
Hopefully, it picked something up if it was.
Yeah.
Because I was facing the camera that way, so.
But then other people said it was because they were... This bloke called Derek Savory reckoned he came across like not a cryptid but a weird being. But
That sounds like a
speak
cool
to him
place.
about that. That was quite horrific, and that attacked his brother. His brother got all scratches.
What sort of creature was it?
Well, he said it looked like an owl man.
An
owl?
Yeah, his name's Derek Savory. I'll put him in contact with him. You can ask him.
Owl man.
Yeah, like a huge owl man, and he saw all these like ancient soldiers with him as well, and they were stopping him going down the track. They'd turn him back.
Man, the only owl man I've heard of is in the Mornan Church in Cornwall.
This was
Ancient was that? So it was the ancient soldiers.
Yes, like something from ancient times, and they were. This old man was in charge, and they were stopping him going down this track. And he thought, no one's going to stop me going down the track, and his brother got scratched all down his back. I'll put him in touch with you and you can ask him.
So
That is toes, isn't
that's a bare foot.
it? Yeah.
So who?
You know, if I put my foot next to it, like walking it, it's like the same size foot as mine.
But that's someone's toes. Clearly.
They're clear as day toes, mate. That's a left foot.
But then where's the follow-up?
There isn't. There's just a random left foot.
That's
Well, you know what happens in Skinwalker, don't you? They followed that big wolf creature out into the snow, and then the track stopped.
But that's walking this way.
Yeah. That's so strange.
See what I mean? Look, there's no follow-up.
That's so
There's just
funny
a random foot.
Yeah, because I often think, like, you know, like Bigfoot. Like, there was that famous footprint found, and it's like, well, why was there only one? There is one bare footprint.
Look, it's clearly a toe, isn't it? There's clearly toe outlines there, and it's got the shape of a foot. But there's like, There's just one.
When you stopped and said that is a bare foot, I thought you meant a foot of a bear.
A foot of a bear.
I was like, there better not be bears out here.
I don't think we have bears here, do we?
But I don't know what's worse.
But I tell you what we do
A
have.
grizzly bear or a hopping
The ancients
skinwalker.
probably didn't even have shoes, did they?
Yeah,
We do have big cats though, don't we?
we do. That has actually been confirmed by DNA testing.
What's that?
Big cats in the countryside. They found some black fur on some barbed wire at a farm that had been, like, a lot of the sheep had been killed, and they DNA tested it, and it came back as 99.9% connected to puma. So they're out there.
I heard some noise.
Yeah, I just heard a laugh from over there. There could be people here.
Yes, what I heard was from over there.
I don't like hearing noises where we're
hear
this
voices
exposed.
You start listening, you'll imagine them.
Yeah.
This area where we are now is where, and when you hear about Rendlesham Forest incident, when they had all the light halls rigged up and all the cars and vehicles were here, on the third night, when Colonel Holt and his team had enough and they went and told them miserable and they walked back from the field, John Burroughs was here with a few other people. There were some light halls that refused to work. They hadn't been working all night. Colonel Holt said to John, "Can you see that there?" And there was a blue orb flying round and round and round. And John said, "Yes, I can see it." That swooped down, went through a window of a truck where one of the airmen was sitting, through the truck, and as it passed the light halls that had refused to work all night, they lit up, bathed everything in light, and as it went away, they went off again.
Almost like I had like an electric charge or something like that. The orbs.
Yeah. So when Colonel Holt come back, he had one of the airmen with him was Adrian Bustinza, and John's still seeing these lights everywhere. And Colonel Holt says to John, "Is that what you saw, like that?" And he said, well, he knew it was, but he said, "I can't be sure. Can I go forward?" So these were in the forest a little bit. This light had come down in the forest. And so he gave Adrian Bustinza permission to go with John, and they went like a couple of 100 yards into the forest, and there was this light. Well, Adrian says he felt like he was being held to the ground. John went into the light, the light surrounded him, and Adrian says momentarily the light disappeared and there was a craft there. And then within a few moments that disappeared, and John was stood there wondering what the hell had happened. And from that moment on, from that time, John and Adrian can't remember anything until about 14 hours afterwards. They couldn't remember anything what happened. They can't remember how they got back to the base, what happened when they got there or anything. So whatever the phenomena was, that erased their memories. Yeah.
Were they conscious for those 14 hours?
Yes,
but they just have no recollection.
No
whatsoever.
recollection. They can't remember. Adrian said, "Well, someone must have driven me, or I must have driven back to the base," but they can't remember. And they can't remember anything what happened during the day until that evening, and then they can remember from the evening onwards. So maybe they were, there is talk that the CIA cleanup doctor was there. Right. Maybe they were taken in, interrogated, and used hypnosis on them for them to, so whatever they saw, they didn't want them to know. Holt never talks about this incident.
Really?
No, he don't. When he's pushed on it, he said, "I was there the whole time. They went in the forest. They didn't see nothing. They were never at my sight the whole while. They went 200 yards into the forest. You go in that forest 50 feet, you won't be able to see anything."
No.
So he couldn't.
Like
if he stayed here, he couldn't have seen.
That's disgusting. Yeah.
I mean, you've got all the trees in the way for one thing.
You literally can't. I've got a light. I can't see anything.
No. But he's tried to sort of erase that part of the story, so I'm sure something happened that he would rather not bring up.
So strange. This whole thing is just so strange.
Yeah. Adrian says that when the light came over John, that was like, when you see on the Starship Enterprise, where they beam people up.
Oh, yeah.
That was like that. It just faded away. This craft was there, and then when the craft went, it came back. We ain't got that sort of technology, have we?
No. Do keep hearing weird shit in that direction, which is not.
What is that?
There it is.
What is that? Oh, it's a bug.
Is that one of them glow things?
No way.
Where is it?
It's there.
Oh, yeah.
Is that one of them?
Glowworm thing.
Yeah.
Firefly.
Firefly, that's the word I'm looking for.
It's a firefly.
Oh, that was good.
Who just cracked Rendlesham Forest?
That was a longer walk to get back, so we're now back at the gate where we started the investigation. Shall we cap the investigation off with an Estes method?
That's a good idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's a few questions I want to ask.
Okay, fantastic.
There we go.
Right, let's set it up. So unfortunately, the spirit box is totally dead, which is very strange because it hasn't been turned on since the last investigation, and the last investigation it was absolutely fine.
I've been down there with film crews and all the batteries are drained one after another.
It's very strange. That does happen. Like, I mean, this camera's, how much battery's left on that? Half, and that's fully charged. What shall we do? Let's do some EMF. Okay. Right. Is there anything here with us this evening? There wouldn't be any electric current near this gate, would there?
No, there's no power.
No. Okay. We'll ask again. Is there anything here with us? Every time I say.
Ask, did they investigate? Yeah.
Did you investigate here?
Yes,
Oh.
Chris.
You think you
Jeez.
know who it is?
Yeah. Is that Chris Nash? Oh, gone cold. It's your favourite place, Chris. You always hung out here and had your barbecues. I guess you'd be here. Chris Nash is the main one because he was down there nearly every night. He had an obsession. He used to stay here and have a barbecue. Chris, can you make the machine light up? Can you do that for us? You still here? Can you turn the red lights on? The orange lights? Can you do that? To show us you're there?
Can you push it through? Oh, it's gone to yellow.
Yes, thank you.
What?
Thank you.
I do like to reiterate this point. That right there isn't like a ghost hunting equipment. That is an electrician's tool to find electrical current.
Yeah.
This isn't like from a ghost. This is from Amazon for electricians.
I got you, yeah.
You know, this is and so the only thing that should be picking up is electromagnetic frequencies, and this is a metal fence. Wow. You just asked it to go to orange and red, and it did. Are you alone here? Are we alone here?
There you go.
Whoa, it's a red. Whoa.
So is that a no, I'm not alone here?
I'm kind of taking it.
Yes, red.
Seems to be gone now. Isn't it?
Is there anything here with us? Is anyone here with us? Is there anything or anyone that wants to communicate with us? It's your last chance, as we will be leaving shortly. Give us a sign. Okay. We'll leave it there. I do just want to say nothing has permission to attach to us or to go home with us, okay?
Yeah, stay here.
Stay here. You've made your home in Rendlesham Forest. Thank you for communicating with us. I'm now going to close down the communication. That was spooky.
That's probably the best EMF stuff we've had, really.
Definitely, for just straight up response and answer. That's quite something. This has been the Rendlesham Forest investigation. I hope you've enjoyed. If you'd like us to come back, let us know down below. Ronnie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For all of your knowledge, all of your time. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I think you may have inspired 2 more enthusiasts. I'm certainly going to look into it even more when I get home. But yeah, thank you. Yeah. And thank you guys. I'll see you very soon. See you later, guys.